Groveland Conservation Commission in October 21st, 2013. And we have our first hearing tonight on a notice of intent for the Zachary Path earth removal. And so we're going to turn it over to Brad from Camet, and you have the floor.
All right, thank you. As Mike stated, this is a notice of intent application for some earth removal, a couple of earth removal sites over on the Angelini property off of Center Street, Zachary Path. This is kind of an overall of the general area. We've got Center Street down here, Main Street over here. This is the area of the solar field that was just constructed. And then the Angelini property that we're dealing with is this property right in here.
Does that include the trust?
Yes. Building, yeah, the Angelini, there's one parcel right there, and then there's the trust property right there. There's two areas of land here that's going to be, or is proposed for excavation. Number one is this area highlighted in blue up here, which is gravel removal. And then this smaller area down here is an old stockpiled area of loam that was stripped off a lot of this property back when this was more of an active excavation site. Just in general terms, we've had wetlands delineated over in this area and over in this area, so some of this gravel removal work is within the 100-foot buffer zone of wetlands in here.
Is that indicated by anything?
I'll show you,
Okay.
I'll flip a plan in
Got
just a second. And then there's another area of wetlands over in here that were delineated, which is adjacent to the loom pile, which is proposed to be removed. Look at a little more, look at the topographic plan. This is the gravel removal area we're just looking at, is this area in here. The wetlands were delineated in through here. Wetland flags are indicated on the plan here and over in here.
So what's the scale on this?
This is a 40 scale.
40 per inch?
1 inch is 40 feet.
Okay.
The wetland buffer zone, 100-foot buffer zone is right in through here. So portions of the proposed gravel removal work is located within this strip. And the remainder is outside jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission.
What's the closest point?
This is 20.
We've set
25.
an erosion control line at the 25-foot no disturb or no cut zone. And we've got this graded such that it'll be just outside the 25-foot no cut zone will be a berm. It'll kind of be the high point, and everything else slopes back and away from the wetland area, so we're not grading anything directly toward the wetlands.
How tall is the berm going to be?
It's only, you're only talking like a couple of feet high, just more or less just to keep runoff from going in the opposite direction, not towards toward the wetlands.
Okay, this is all flowing this way.
This is all sloping back this
All
way.
right.
This is kind of a high point right in through here. And Zachary Lane is up here. This will be, this is Zachary Lane. All this operations of this, as far as truck hauling material out, will be going out through the old road down through the site, out through the busing property and out to Center Street. So that's going to be access in and out for both of these operations. Now, the program for this, we've got this broken up into 5. These blocks represent sectors that will be developed as far as what parts of these get removed first. So we've broken this up into sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the way this is set up to operate is start in sector 1, haul the material out, grade it, revegetate it, loom it and revegetate it before moving on to the next one, so we're not opening this whole thing up all in one shot.
How long is it going to take to do the whole thing?
Well, the agreement he has with the town is a 5-year term with a possible 2-year extension if he needs it.
And when is he planning on starting?
That I don't know.
Okay.
That still waiting for transactions to happen here on these properties too with the owners in the town, so. I wouldn't anticipate it being probably not until next spring
Spring
anyway.
after, okay.
By the time everything gets settled into this fall and winter, it'd be springtime. The other section, the loom pile section. Again, here's the wetlands we've had delineated out on the ground. 25-foot no disturb zone is in through there, and then the 100-foot buffer zone is up right through here. So some of this removal operations will be within the 100-foot buffer zone. We'll put erosion control along and then this is the access road that's going out to Center Street. So we'll have erosion control on the side adjacent to the wetlands to protect the wetlands on this side.
So it comes right.
So that's
up to the
almost
road in one
touching,
spot.
it's well into the 25.
Yeah, but that's that's an existing.
Right, I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying.
So you won't be digging within the 25, it's just that the hay bales will be within
Hay
25.
bales will be in the 25, just
And
to
there'll be trucks driving back and
Yeah.
forth.
back and forth.
And that's because, because the trucks are going down the road, not, that's why the hay bales are there.
Right.
Do you want anything more substantial than hay bales in that particularly vulnerable section?
You could double that up with something if you prefer to see that, that's not a problem. I think we're using this, we specified the silt sock.
Could we do the side protection on the other side of the road?
You could do some additional over here.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe silt sock on the other side, but on the final side, I think it needs to be double staked hay bales.
Yeah.
Well, here's the issue though. I was reviewing the plan earlier, and, it's gonna be 5 years, so hay bales are not gonna last 5 years. The silt sock will last longer. I mean, obviously, we could have him put hay bales and just keep having him replace them every time they ran out, but I feel like this might be one time when the silt sock
Well, we could,
might make more sense.
and like you said, we
do
could
a
double
the
up
road,
here.
Double it up.
Silt,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sock most of the way, but then in the affected area, double up with hay bales.
That need to be maintained.
Yeah,
So why,
but that reduces it by 90% almost.
How can you specify where that is from?
Any portion
Anything
There's the
within
line.
the 25 foot.
within the I would even go maybe 10 feet beyond
Right.
any portion, 10 feet further along on either side of where the 25 no disturb intersects with the
Proposed hay bale
proposed
line,
silt.
or the road,
sock.
really.
Yeah. Reasonable?
That's more than reasonable.
Try to be that way some of the time.
what is when you say the silt sock lasts longer, why is that?
It doesn't rot.
Yeah, I mean,
But what's in the silt sock? It depends on.
But it's contained with
It's contained within a
it's like a polypropylene or something.
polypropylene mesh type thing,
Weatherproofed.
and usually it's like mulch or bark mulch, something like that inside it.
A little more robust.
So that'll last a little longer than your hay bales will be sitting out to the elements. But that has to be maintained as well, so it's.
5 years, anything's gonna go. Yeah, natural.
Yeah, it's gonna
Settle.
settle quite a bit. It's a nice little composting tube there.
Right?
Gets nice and warm in the winter even. Earthworms are saying,
Lunch. Dinner.
okay.
and how many sectors in the loom?
The loom, we'll have two sectors. It's broken up.
And this is the pile where all the
Two.
dirt bikes and stuff go roaming
No,
around?
no.
Different one?
No.
No. This is where, over the years, he's been trucking in compost material and stuff.
Oh, okay. Where's that dirt bike
That's
attracted
on
nuisance?
his property.
Oh, that's right, it's on,
Mr. Buss's.
Sits on a busing.
Bustings, yep. Yep.
Is there any sort of plan for what's gonna happen to that that spot, the spot that's further north that you're removing the gravel? Or is it just gonna be a hole?
This here,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not gonna physically look like a hole, it's gonna be graded,
You said it was gonna be revegetated as
and
well.
be revegetated.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
And plus, they're not going to go any deeper than 6.1 feet above the mean high water table.
Yeah, the seasonal high water table.
Because of the gravel removal permit, they can't do that. So
It's pretty limited.
yes, I mean, it's gonna look fine when they're done.
It's a little flatter.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you looked at what's out there now, if you've been out there before, like this, this area over in here where it was an old area he had hauled, or somebody hauled material out before, it's real flat, and it's a lot lower than this. This is actually gonna end up higher than any land around it when it's all said and done. So, prior to him starting on any of these sectors, there'll be test pits done to determine what the seasonal high water table is. And then that'll dictate to what elevation you can take each one of those sectors down to. And that'll be part of the permit we have to get from the planning board. We have to get a earth removal permit, special permit from the planning board under the zoning bylaw. And then we'll also need to get a permit from the board of selectmen for earth removal.
Does revegetated mean just like grass?
Hydroseed.
Grass and then some tree plantings. The planning board will kind of dictate that.
Okay.
I haven't been out there in a couple of years, so I wouldn't mind taking a stroll.
you can go out there anytime you want.
You're not planning on a sidewalk, it sounds like. Interesting.
I'll go with you, Terry.
I'll go with you.
I'll probably go with you.
We had a lot of walks out there when we were talking about, buying the place.
Yeah.
Right,
I
but we
remember doing
weren't
it.
having those walks with an eye towards
Yeah.
gravel removal.
Yeah.
Taking a peek doesn't hurt much.
I think we have to continue this hearing anyway, because we don't have a DEP file number yet.
Yes.
And
And there you go. How about the week after
And I
next?
don't have, we're still gonna get, Eve Schluter still has to get back to us on
Yeah,
whatever issue she
National
may have with this. at
National Heritage.
Yeah, because Natural Heritage has control of all of this
Oh, that's a
here,
chunk.
and all of that there.
Whoa.
So there's a little
So what
finger
part don't they have?
right in through there is out of there.
Okay.
What
Out
was,
of the Bussing, Mattingly, and Angelini property, a lot of it's natural heritage.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Continues to me.
Anything else you want to show us?
This is something else you wanna see?
Any other questions on that? So, just for the commissioner's information, so the water department is applying for this permit. But this is not for town, we don't own that land yet. But this, under advice of town council, this was how they recommended doing it, because all of the permits that need to be provided to the current owner of the property have to be granted before the
Closing.
purchase and sale is signed. So it's a little convoluted, normally we wouldn't be doing it that way.
So
But,
basically, they need to get permission to be able to do what they wanna do before they're willing
were
to
they
pay.
willing to sell it?
Yeah, right, I mean, it's a
Is it the
condition
purchase and
of
sale,
sale.
or is it the closing of the sale?
No, it's.
Purchase and sale?
It's well, the permits need to be handed over on the date that we buy it.
Yeah.
But we can't sign the purchase and sale until the permits are in place. So it's they need to be done before the
They're a
purchase and
condition
sale.
of that.
Yeah, kind of. So that's, time is not on our side. But, like you said, Fred, we have to wait for the DEP number anyway. and, Natural Heritage could respond at any time, so. So, I think our next meeting is on, November 13th, right?
Yep.
So,
No, that's fine. You can't
So
do
there you
anything
go.
about it, so-
hopefully, I mean, that's only 3 weeks away,
Yeah.
so hopefully we'll have a word from Natural Heritage by
Well,
then,
we'll-
so.
I mean, we've had a lot of contact with you,
Yeah.
so
Right,
if we need to get something, we can probably get it.
right, that's what I'm saying, it could show up this week for all we know. So, so if you do wanna do a site walk, we can do a site walk.
Love to.
Just surprised by your sudden interest in this, Greg.
We're all very interested in this property,
I
clearly.
tried to
You wanna
get you
ask
out
that?
there
I'll take
before you didn't wanna go.
I didn't want to go where I was in China. Which one?
I don't know, either one. could be.
Okay, well.
Alright, so, let's see, site visit, does everyone wanna go this Saturday or
Yeah.
next?
I'm
Saturday?
going this Saturday. You know,
Alright,
gotta pay those taxes.
how about November 2?
November 2 sounds great.
Morning is good, I think.
Morning.
Afternoon would be bad for me.
Yeah, no, and everyone's gonna be at the Wine and Art that day, so,
Get that on the
You
camera.
mean including all the people who have come to this meeting?
Great people.
no, all the commissioners.
Oh,
Alright, so that's Saturday, November
second?
2nd
that's that
at,
evening.
what do you wanna do, 8:30 or something?
8:30 sounds fine.
Alright, 8:30. Now, Fred doesn't need to be there. I don't
No.
think you need to
I
be
mean,
there.
you know it as
Yeah.
well as I do.
We've
Yeah,
got
right.
good plans, and that's.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
That's
so,
normally, if we didn't have good plans, maybe, but
right, I think that,
And
That's
we
fine,
have,
however you wanna handle it.
yeah,
we have copies of these?
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. Alright, so 8:30 AM and we'll meet, because it's easier, we'll meet at, on Center Street at the opening, at the gate
Where the gate,
there,
yep.
yeah, at 150.
That was 8:30.
150 Center Street.
Alright. So do we have a motion to continue this till, November
We
13th?
move to continue it to November 13th.
Sec. I thought he was gonna say more.
I know.
Who
It's
seconded?
like the snap.
Brad beat me by a mile.
I've been
Wasn't
studying
even
the
close.
Okay,
emotional
all in favor
linguistics.
to,
Continue.
continue, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Alright,
Thank you. I'll see you on
Thank
the
you.
13th.
Yes.
Need you for the sidewalk, okay?
yes, November 13th,
The public's invited,
7:30.
right?
yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, you want a nice big crowd down there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Absolutely.
that could happen.
If you're interested in seeing what we're hopefully buying out there, then certainly come to
Now, the cinematographer's not supposed to be influencing what's going on in front of the camera, right? Otherwise, it goes from documentary to,
It's the production value.
yeah,
yeah, 8:30 a.m.
somebody remind me.
8:30 a.m. on November 2nd, and then
Yeah,
Uh,
you're required to be
7:30 on
there
the
at this point.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No doubt.
We will hunt you down.
if you're not there, Terry, you're
You
in
mean
trouble.
here, Mike, or?
Yeah, we'll be in the center room here, yeah, yeah. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is a waiver request, correct, Brad?
That is correct.
Seasonal waivers coming up on November 1.
Yeah, let's have Eric come in here.
Mike, do you need me for that for
Eric?
components on the solar field, or?
I don't think so. Did anyone have any questions, before we do that, did anyone have any questions
is
on
it?
this?
What do we got?
This is a certificate of compliance on the solar field, if you know where it is there,
Yeah.
right on Main Street.
Kinda hard to miss it.
I did the inspection
Okay.
today and things look very good.
Very shiny.
Very green,
Fence
too.
is shiny. So did anyone have any questions for Fred before he leaves on that?
On the Solar field?
Solar field, yeah. S- Sign it twice. No, I guess,
You're all set.
We're all set.
Great, thank you.
and I was there today, it looks great, and I looked over the natural heritage stuff that you sent, so it looks fine,
Okay, all right, thanks a lot.
thank you. All right. Do you have a letter for us, Fred?
Eric, did you change the letter?
I
Since
did
you
not.
gave it to me?
I did not know.
Okay, so we have a letter from Mr. Eric Gorski requesting submitting a work schedule with notes certain activities to be completed after November 1st during our seasonal restriction. Not all the work taking place is within the resource area as defined in the Wetland Protection Bylaw and regulations of the Conservation Commission. Those areas outside the resource area, such as the exterior building construction, are being included for informational purposes only. Due to the amount of the work to be completed after November 1, I'm requesting a waiver of the seasonal restriction for the work within the jurisdiction of the Commission, a waiver of any and all fees the Commission may impose within the jurisdiction for work that commences after November 1. So here's the work items. Retaining wall, commence work on or around November 1, outside of wetland buffer to be completed by November 30th, weather permitting. Site grading at retaining wall area, commence work on or around November 30, depending upon completion date of retaining wall, complete by 3 days. Driveway paving, commence work on or around December 1, depending on completion date of the retaining wall, completed by 3 days. While the site work is being completed, exterior house construction will be ongoing as weather permits. This work includes but not limited to siding and trim located outside the wetlands and buffer areas. Throughout November and December, vegetation and earth materials will be stockpiled in the previously shown designated areas. Once the site is stable and to grade, any excess material will be removed. Okay, so that's what, so my summary of it would be, it looks like we are being requested for up to 6 days of waiver time within the seasonal restriction.
6 days?
Six working days.
November.
So,
Yeah. 3 days to do the retaining wall and, 3 days to do the site grading at the retaining wall area and 3 days to do the driveway paving.
So what's the story with the retaining wall? Is it all outside the?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
outside of wetland buffer.
It's all outside wetland buffer.
I
Do
don't,
you have a copy of the plan? I'm Jackie Byerly, I'm helping just here to help him out.
Yeah, if we had a picture of the plan, that would be good.
No, we don't. We're not in our normal offices.
So I agree with you on the site grading and the driveway paving. I'm not clear on the retaining wall yet.
A
yeah,
small portion of the retaining wall is within the 200-foot buffer, the riverfront buffer. Not all of it though. Along with, same with the portion of the pavement going up is within a portion of the 200-foot buffer.
So,
But it's outside the 100-foot,
Yeah.
but within the 200 feet.
no, I know, but still. Well, no, hold on a second. Let's think about that a second. Does the seasonal restriction apply to the 200-foot buffer zone?
I don't think there's any distinction. I think,
It actually, I'm sorry to interrupt it again, but it does actually specify in here within the 100-foot buffer zone, or work that takes place outside of a completely enclosed structure within the 100-foot buffer zone. So none of the work is taking place within that 100-foot.
Yep.
The whole lot is actually outside the 100-foot.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
now,
Where
does that
does
include, does
it-
that
where does
include
it
the
say that?
stream though?
That's in the bylaw. Or?
That's part of the seasonal restriction
Oh, so-
waiver requests.
Oh, okay, all right. But it's not in the bylaw. We don't have the bylaw in front of us either.
I didn't realize that, I don't think there was any restrictions in the bylaw at all. Most of it, the restrictions come from this.
No, it does talk about the seasonal restriction in the bylaw.
Mm.
Well, that clarification is kind of important.
Yes, I know. I know, yes. Well, I think Terry is correct, but see if you see it in there, Terry.
So while he looks up that, so
Yeah.
how far into the 200-foot buffer is the retaining wall?
Probably, it's over 150 from the riverfront, so I'll say about 40 feet is the deepest it goes in.
And the retaining wall, you said it was gonna take until when?
Hopefully by the end of November,
End
and
of
this is, again, all weather permitting.
No? Not there? Really? Not in
Brad,
any
can
of
you bring it
those?
up online, Brad?
Yep, he can. We
He
can
was
do
hoping
that.
by November 20th that he would be outside of the.
That'll take him a while.
It's gonna be tough to do work over Thanksgiving. We got Thanksgiving's
It seems late though.
it's late this year.
The work will probably be done by the time this comes up on the computer.
As long as the camera isn't catching you punching the password.
Made sure to stand in front. Sneakers. Is it on the website? Bylaw?
Yep, yep.
There's that handy handbook.
Wow, it took us that long just to get to the
Remember?
Yeah,
password.
I know.
You need to have the handbook sitting here.
I'm surprised.
There's a lot of stuff. There's forms over there.
Yeah.
Would it be in the forms book?
No, I don't think so.
Well, again, it's kind of ironic that we're looking for this now, right? 2 weeks ago, we were here on Monday. I was asking for the quote-unquote condensed book with all our bylaws in it, and it doesn't exist, right? It's a collection of the bylaws that exist on the webpage, or as different chapters in the what do you call it, the binder that we've got over there in the office. I was hoping we had, like, you know what I mean, the actual.
Mm.
So we're in the document now. We just gotta find it.
Would there be a section on seasonal restrictions?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
search for seasonal.
Or restrictions.
PDF. You should be able to control it.
Sorry.
Where's your wireless mouse?
Seriously.
They don't give you a lot of room to move, huh?
Okay. So this is chapter 9, section 4, seasonal restrictions. Work within a resource area shall be performed during low flow months of the year, blah, blah, blah. All stabilization work must commence by October 15th and be in place and fully functional prior to November 1st. This shall include any and all required planting or temporary protection methods, slope protection, and pavement as required by the Commission in its decision. No work within any resource area described in Section 2 shall be permitted after November 1st or before April 15th.
So it's pretty general. It says resource
Yeah.
area,
Resource
not
area.
the 100-foot
Anything that's
buffer.
defined.
Okay. Thank you.
Took care of that faster than the NFL took care of the.
Okay, so you're saying that some of the retaining wall work is within the 200-foot buffer zone?
Yes, along with some of the paving of the driveway.
Well, and I think we also have to take into consideration that little stream that flows on the south side of.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but the order of conditions actually is specific to being just for the riverfront.
It is, but that doesn't mean that the other
The work
part is
on
not
that
in
side
our.
Yeah, but
Is actually not taking place with the retaining wall, and the retaining walls to the front of the property that, fronts on Washington Street.
Okay, again, without a site plan, it's hard to picture exactly where things are going, but
That is
All
true.
right.
The
So,
retaining walls along the street.
so the first question I have of the commissioners, are we thinking that we are willing to grant a waiver to the seasonal restriction to allow this work to be done?
well, as usual, the main consideration is it would be more damaging to leave it
The entire winter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
unstabilized.
right.
And
I
it's pretty clear that
I
it's,
think that's not a good idea.
yeah,
So I think that, you know, it can be justified to get this finished, to grant the waiver, to get it to be finished. Okay, so that's point number one, is we think that it would be better to have the work done. So it makes sense to grant the seasonal restriction
Is there
waiver.
something that's preventing this from happening sooner, even if it's a couple weeks sooner?
For the most part, it's actually trying to just line up the contractors correctly. You know, just getting their work schedules, you know, unfortunately, I wish they only worked for Mr. Gorski. Unfortunately, you know, they have other jobs that they're working on, and even trying to push them to finish it in November's gonna be a feat.
So the next question is not exactly, but how many days you need the waiver?
Sounds like 1 month, right now, the way that reads.
Well, no, but how
Within
many
1 month,
working days? How many work
Oh, I
days?
see.
in the resource
restricted
area.
time.
Yeah, so there's 3 days for the site grading, 3 days for the driveway paving, but how many days for the retaining wall?
In the jurisdictional area.
Yeah,
Again, most of it's gonna be, I would have to say it's almost really the month,
oh, okay,
you know,
all right.
You're gonna be working every day during the course of that month.
I hope so.
What's every day?
We don't know.
I think you
Monday
got
through
weather
Friday.
permitting. But
The
Saturday.
Monday
Right,
through
right, right,
Friday,
yeah, so-
mainly.
Yeah, Monday
Week
through
work
Friday.
days, I think, yeah.
So
Right.
it's not, it's gonna be between 20 and 3.
Basically, making the retaining wall is a big job, and they're
Yeah.
gonna be working
It
on
is.
it a while, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
And they
Alright.
have already begun. It's not like it
So,
hasn't started yet either.
you know, probably 5 weeks of 5 days each, so that's 25 days, maybe 25 days would make sense. That would carry him into the first week of December.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's looking for a 25-day waiver, and then what are we doing about the waiver fee?
Well, I
The
think
normal waiver fee for that would be,
$400 a day.
yes,
And
25 days.
definitely precedent for reducing the amount of the waiver fees. We had 20 on Wood Street last year, right?
Yep.
I don't know if we have any precedents for waiving it entirely, and I don't know if that would be a good idea. But certainly, we're open to reduction.
Certainly.
And what did was half price for
For
29 Wood?
29? I don't remember.
Or,
Carl, do you remember?
Half comes to mind.
Yeah,
as
sounds about
what
right.
we were
Yeah, but
doing.
that's still a lot
But
of
I think
money.
also here, and you guys, I'm just throwing this out there, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but if when when things aren't going your way and you need an exception, you know, whatever, because it's going a little longer than you thought, and we want to button it up, I think that's a very valid exception. If the exceptions are happening all the time as a general rule, just because it's more convenient to just do stuff in that period, right? I don't think we should be reducing the reduction as much. This clearly is the former and not the latter, right? This isn't like this is a perpetual thing
Right.
Indeed.
where, you know, this is, the program's running long. So if there's a reduction, we should give the maximum reduction, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I agree.
Let's see. Well, I mean, we could reduce it to $8 a day. The fee would be $200 for 25 days.
I think that would be looked upon as favoritism.
Favoritism?
I think so. 800 to
What was the
400
total
to
for
8,
what was the total for our previous, what's the precedent?
200.
200 total? for
Well,
200 per
typically,
day.
How many days was it?
I think he ended up 10 days on that one.
yeah, 10 days.
So you paid $2,000.
Typically.
Does it matter that, because he was a contractor, right? 29 Wood Street?
Yeah,
He was.
Does that matter?
not really.
Okay.
Well, they have deeper pockets and they actually have more control. over
Comes out of
scheduling.
somebody's pocket eventually.
Yep.
I'm actually not sure how much is the fee per day?
$400 per day.
Why am I reading that it would be 100 per calendar day? I'm not sure where 400
What
came
are
from.
you reading?
Excavation, foundation, and grading is $100 a
Yeah,
day.
that's
I think that's
probably an
from
old
years ago.
schedule, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an updated one?
I think I have one there, so.
That's the only one I have in here.
So in splitting the difference, I agree with you, 8 might be considered favoritism.
Right.
I think 100 though would be, I'll just propose 100 as a balance.
So 100 would make it.
Seasonal restriction waiver, this is from 2009. Excavation, foundation and grading per day, $400. All other exterior work, $200.
Yeah, when was that, 2009?
2009.
Yeah.
We really
I think
tried
that
to
was
discourage it.
I think that was our original fee was $100.
Yeah, that's from about 10 years ago or
Right.
so.
So we can also put in here, right, that
Yeah.
if we do go with $100, right, if you use less days than that, we don't have to stipulate that you use all of the days up to
Well,
a maximum, right?
It can just be the days that they work.
Exactly.
Right.
So you can
So
try
if
to
you-
consolidate.
You can keep track of, I recommend keeping track of how many days the contractors are actually working,
Mm.
so that, you only pay for the days that you really need. All right,
And it's a form of discouragement, but not paying for anybody to review any of the work taken.
Well, we review. We certainly.
no, it's a combination of discouragement and review. So, normally if we had an agent, we'd be sending our agent there every couple of days and tracking and just
Keeping an eye on
contacting the
things.
person and saying, what do you do? Because we want you to finish earlier anyway, so we were making sure that, the work was being done quickly.
The other case we're talking about, 29 Wood Street. I live a couple miles away. I walk up there periodically during the work and just take a look at it. So I mean, I don't get anything. I don't get paid for this job. So it's not like I'm trying to
So-
roll up the.
No, understood. So does anybody remember the time when we reduced it to less
Then
than
why wouldn't you
100?
go with the $8?
Well, it's a
Huh?
it's a discouragement. See, that's part of the thing is the whole reason why the seasonal restriction is in place is because it's
understand
not
that.
a good
Again,
time to
he's-
work.
he's
So,
still needs
if
to
we
button
reduce
it
it to nothing, then anybody comes in and,
They're gonna say, hey,
right,
yeah.
I understand that for repeat offenders, to be
Mhm.
honest with you, if we're back here a year asking for the same things to do the retaining wall, the drug. I'm not saying we not, because if it snows in 2 weeks, most of this is pretty much off the table, because a lot of this work wouldn't probably take place with.
Completely agree with you.
so-
That's why I said earlier we should give you the lowest amount that there is. The question is, what is the lowest amount that we're ever going to lower?
I
These
was-
two is the question.
And our
I
Right.
was just gonna
'Cause
throw
it
this
sets
last one
precedence.
out there of based on when the order of conditions was actually issued, if we could go to the fees that were in place back then, which I think is the $100 per day.
If he
and-
made the waiver request, then that's what it would have been. I mean, that was a long time ago, and things change. The taxes go up. You don't get you don't get a break because your house was built before a certain time.
Oh, he's still paying taxes.
No, I understand that, but what I'm
On a
saying is,
buildable lot.
it's not a case where you
What
can
if it
say,
come out
well,
to be
the
100 times
It's 25.
$2,500.
$2,500.
Well, along the lines of what you were saying, Terry, I mean, I live right down the road, so I would be aware of everything, like at least on a daily, I would see it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So,
Look, and he's free.
So
I'm
with-
just
With
saying.
respect to the amount of money, I think the standard that we normally did was 50%. That would have put it at 200. I think we're already at 100,
25%.
right, which is 25%.
Yeah, 75% off.
What do you guys think?
I think that's fair.
That's reasonable.
Now, is that just for the days that,
He's working.
okay, because it's gonna
Yeah.
change.
yep, it's just for each working day.
Within that buffer zone.
Within the buffer
Within the
zone.
Within
In the
the
buffer
So
zone,
if
you
they
finish in the
finish
buffer.
it,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Then
there's really an encouragement to
now.
finish that part as
Yeah.
quickly as
So-
possible.
Somebody's gonna track that, cause it won't be as the entire month of November.
Right. Well,
And
Eric's
we're-
gonna track it.
I
We
think
trust
we're
him.
even
Track
willing
it,
to
maybe it's
have
to your
you
I mean,
guys
he may have
Wow,
like.
this is on the honor system then, you were good, right?
You need to walk away.
Right. That's good advice.
The information for I know you have to vote, I assume you have to
Yep.
vote on this. When would the fee be due? Would that be due at the end of the working time and he did the calculation with you?
Yeah, normally,
So you could be-
normally, we don't have a real rule with that, you know, and for an individual homeowner, I think we'd be willing to collect the
For
fee at the
contractors,
end.
we want it up front.
Yeah, because
for-
we don't
for
trust those
resident-
guys,
You're not going anywhere. You're planning to live there.
right?
I hope so.
Yeah, we know what your car looks like.
I mean, you're responsible for
It's
the
got blue and red
certificate of compliance on it, you know, I mean, if you owed a fee to us and then you came in and looking for a certificate of compliance, you know, we just wouldn't sign off on it, so, you know, I don't think we have any problem with waiting until you, are done.
Outside the buffer zone?
Now,
So-
if he, I'm sorry to interrupt again, if he finishes the work that's outside the buffer zones, let's assume he finishes it in 10 working days.
Inside or outside?
Inside, you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
inside, thank you. Who should we contact to actually have that,
Brad will be the one who Eric
Going by.
can
We've been in
talk to
touch.
and say, I'm done, you know, that
Stop the clock.
definitely.
Stop the clock.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And also, you know, tell them the number of days. Does that make sense?
I think something useful also would be, Eric, for you and I to go out there and mark
That buffer
the
area?
zone that's in the buffer area.
Yep.
And then that
Say,
will,
get to here.
Yeah,
we'll all be,
you can help
Yeah,
your
then
we'll all
contractors
be on
get
this
out of
part
that
first,
area.
yeah.
if you-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
is that doable?
Sure.
Go.
Absolutely.
So those are all some potential cost savings, hopefully. All right, any other information anyone wants to offer? Are we ready to vote? Okay, so, I'll make a motion that we grant the a waiver to the seasonal restriction for up to 25 days at 186 Washington Street for a reduced fee of $100 per day.
Second. And I'd like to, we might want to say that if it's not finished by our December meeting, that you come in and just kind of
Reopen the
review
discussion.
where things are.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know, for whatever reason, if there's bad weather and they can't work on it, and you've only put in 3 days between now and middle of December, which, I mean, you hope you don't. You hope it's long over by then, right?
I certainly
Yeah,
do.
so do we.
So do you,
So,
that's right.
we all want the same thing here. I don't know if that gets included in the motion or,
No,
no, it's understood.
I'll just put here that Brad's gonna be the contact and we'll review it at our December meeting. Okay. favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good, no, thank you.
Good night.
Good luck with those contractors.
Crack that whip.
Tell him to get here.
It won't be
Tell him,
with
tell
me.
him they have to pay the fee.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Everybody sign that. Pam,
Hi,
hi.
how are you?
Tell us why are you just here to check up on us?
What did we
Well, I
do we do
have-
something wrong, Mike, that
I don't
we
know.
should know about?
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Pam Merrill from
Oh.
Mass
Ah, I was
yes.
wondering.
Emails.
Yes. And so I just thought I'd pop in. I apologize for not giving you a heads up. I
That's all right.
happened to go on your website and saw that you were meeting tonight, so I figured I'd just pop in, kind of impromptu.
Great.
Where are you based?
Wilmington.
Wilmington.
Yeah, so I'm the Northeast Regional Circuit Rider.
Oh, okay.
And what I'm doing is I'm just reaching out, trying to reach out to the communities within my region that don't have an agent. I reach out to all conservation commissions, but I'm really trying to focus on those commissions that might need a little bit of extra help because they don't have an agent. So I don't know if you're all familiar with the Circuit Rider program and what we do at Mass DEP. So I'll just give you a brief summary. There's supposed to be one in each region, regional office, and there's only 3 of us out of 4 really. And there should be 2 in each region, and there isn't due to budget cuts. But basically we're here to help you as conservation commissions. We're here to provide free training, free workshops. We come to your meetings. Either we can set up a separate meeting or I come to your regularly scheduled meeting. I can help you kind of go through enforcement, how to review plans, how to go through NOIs, that sort of thing. So it's just free training. I'm a virtual help desk pretty much. You can call me, email me with questions about wetlands regulations if you're not clear on them, or any of our guidance documents that we have, policies, anything like that. So I'm here to help you. I know you don't have an agent. I don't think you've ever had an agent, if I recall.
No, we've had some very vigilant commission
Yeah,
people, but no agents.
yeah. So I'm actually,
How many towns don't have an agent?
there is a handful. Not that many though. I should know it, but it's definitely under 8.
In all
In
of
the whole-
Massachusetts?
Well, no, I'm sorry.
In your-
Just in my region, and I have about like 90 communities. So I mean that's
Less
pretty.
than 10%.
Yeah, yeah. And some of the communities, like Dover, I'm going there on Thursday. I'm meeting with them. They don't have an agent, but that's a smaller, farm community, kind of like Roveland. But then like Winthrop, they don't have an agent, and that's right on the coast. They have issues in itself dealing with both coastal and inland regulations. So, it's across the board, but I wanted to just, like I said, pop in, say hello, introduce myself, because I've never met any of you before, except for Mike, at a site walk last year. But I just want to know a little bit about me, and anytime that you want to schedule any sort of meetings, or like I said, trainings. I live in southern New Hampshire, so I'm pretty available, even on Saturday mornings, to come down.
Don't tell us that.
I know, cutting up.
You know better than that.
So, I've been with DEP for, it'll be 6 years in December, and prior to that, I was a conservation agent for about 6 years in 2 different municipalities. So, and I've been on my conservation commission in New Hampshire, which is very different, but I know what it's like to be in your shoes or to be on that side of the table. I've also worked for a consulting firm as well, so I know that side of things, but my background is really the regulatory side. So that's pretty much it.
So commissioners, what areas might we be interested in getting a little more extra training? I know.
I'd be interested in knowing how to deal with people that live in more than one town and have problems with beavers that they seem to really obsess on.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know if we need to be that focused.
Well, I mean, I can't really.
So let me ask this a little bit differently.
Sure.
It would be great when we're struggling with something difficult. You know, like you're here today. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
We really could have used you
Last
sometimes.
week.
You know, when we're
Last
in,
week.
Yeah, like last week, or we're in some of these difficult.
What happened last week?
We have an ongoing
Do
situation.
we get to shut that camera off and go
No,
executive
no.
at some point?
Don't mention names.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is
We
a
have an ongoing
large issue
Yep.
that's being presented by a lawyer, so you know already there are danger signals. And sometimes we feel a little bit out of our element.
Oh,
Well, sometimes we are outgunned.
Well, we are, yeah.
I mean,
We're
let's
definitely
just call
outgunned,
it.
but we're
but in that case, we were able to ask the selectmen if we could get help from town council, and they approved it. And so then we had town council come to one of our meetings, and we were able to negotiate. The applicant didn't want to pay for a peer review.
Oh.
So, because town council came to that meeting, we were able to successfully negotiate with the applicant to get a peer review.
Good.
So that went well.
So basically, you're saying we can invite if we have a difficult situation and we go for a site walk, we can invite you to come along and walk with us and help with some expertise. Is that what you're saying?
So I can help guide you. I can't make a decision for you, obviously,
No,
because
no.
you're the
We wouldn't
issuing
want you to.
authority. But I can help if you have problems reading plans, or if you're not sure if something meets performance standards. I can certainly come in. We could talk about, what are the options. For example, like on Thursday, I'm meeting with the Dover Conservation Commission to look at they have a project before them that they're putting like a boardwalk through a BBW, and they're not meeting performance standards because their applicant is requiring just restoration of the BBW and not replication. They're altering the actual BBW, but they're not complying with performance standards. So the commission needs a little bit of guidance in terms of getting to an approvable project, but also meeting the performance standards. So I'm just kind of helping them kind of get there, or try to understand how you can get there. So if you do have a project, I could come out, I could help you kind of formulate questions and so forth. But you do also have a bylaw, so I don't know, I'm not familiar with your bylaw, I haven't read it, so I don't know if it's much more restrictive than the wetlands regulations.
It's more restrictive than the state.
So you have, I heard with Fred Ford's plan, you had a 25-foot no disturb. Do you have like a no build? Because I cannot speak to bylaw issues, matters. So my piece would be helping you understand the state's wetlands regulations.
So one of the things.
The example that you're using, the meeting on the Thursday, would that be a posted meeting?
It's a site walk, so no.
Oh, okay. Do you come to posted meetings
Like this?
like this?
Yes.
Well, I mean, clearly you're here, but
To give a
If we
talk.
knew that we were going to be reviewing an issue that was sticky,
Yeah.
could we invite you to that meeting and you could be in the audience and then you could
be called on.
speak, or?
So you as the commission could say, do you think that meets performance standards, that sort of thing, like if it was within,
We spent
a
about 20
resource
minutes
area.
last week discussing where a perennial stream becomes, or where a intermittent stream becomes
Perennial.
a perennial
Yeah.
stream.
yeah,
And that literally chewed up 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm still not exactly, well, I guess we pretty much came to a consensus of where the point is, and that's what really matters.
So stuff like that.
But stuff like
that's
that would be,
that's something that might be best to kind of try to like convene prior to.
but we didn't know that was coming.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the problem.
But stuff like that, like we could go over the various topics, like really under, if you're not clear as to, like, if you have new members on the board, I don't know how long you've all been here, but new members, if you're not sure where your jurisdiction is, you know, you might know that you have jurisdiction within the 100-foot buffer zone, but do you know where the air, like, really getting back to basics, like, where's your starting point, where are your resource areas, that sort of thing, and then looking at your perennial versus intermittent, where would I find out where that point is between perennial, intermittent, and what programs could I run online to tell me that type of thing. So it's like a variety of training. I mean, it can get pretty broad, or we can get really focused. I don't get involved with appeals. I'm kind of like a neutral ground. I do review NOIs when I'm at work, and I do make comments. But I don't get involved with appeals, so that's good in the event, you know. So I don't think it would be.
That's a conflict for you? Or
No, it's just not in my contract to
okay.
actually get involved with an appeal. So I'm here to be like a outreach. So, you know, I don't know if I would be walking a fine line if I came to a public hearing and there was discussion back and forth between you and an applicant. Certainly if it was a regulatory question as to does it meet performance standard, or what are the performance standards for BBW, do you think it meets it? You know, I could chime in and say, well, the regulations state, you know, just be very matter of fact. I can't, again, I couldn't tell you how to answer, but I can try to guide you to.
You can't advocate,
conclusion.
you can explicate.
Yes.
You can write that down if you want.
That should be my motto.
It would seem to make sense to me that if we picked a topic or two and maybe had Pam come back when we scheduled it, that might be useful.
Mhm.
You know, if we.
You mean just like a Monday night that here kind of thing? or-
It could be a Monday night, or it could be a Wednesday
Make
night.
more sense to have it before a hearing.
Well,
Just because that's when we're all here, or many of us are here.
yeah, unless we had a special Monday night meeting like tonight. But at a hearing night where we, you know, I would either schedule it light that night,
Yep.
so we didn't get crushed with a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Well, we should just start early, 6:30 or
Well,
something.
right,
and
and
get you,
we could do that.
let you sit around for as long as you want after that, and
Mhm.
bail when.
But we would pick, you know, one or two topics, and we'd have Pam give us a little intro too, and then we could ask a lot of questions
Sure.
about it.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
So-
out. The fact that we get to see you and know you makes you much more approachable to give
Oh,
you a
yeah.
call. And
Because you're pretty intimidating otherwise.
I know. I do that to some people.
But we can
Those
always,
emails.
and plus we can
Jargon.
always send an email question to Pam.
Yeah, I mean that's something. I don't know if any. I know Lori.
Yeah,
is
Lori was our
on. Is she
administrator.
no longer?
No,
Oh, get out. Okay, I did not know that.
she's been sick since February.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
We've been, not only do we not have an agent, but we don't
Yeah.
even. Mike's the acting secretary as well, so.
So
so I'd like to know what your opinion is of the communities that don't have an agent. You should get one. What's your opinion?
yes, yes. I definitely
Except that
think so. It's so I worked in Amesbury. That was my first, real job. I was the first agent they ever had, and that was 20 hours. And I could tell you, I put in 40 hours, and there was just so much going on. I worked in my other job. I worked in North Andover, and there was two of us. There were two full-time conservation administrator and a field inspector, and I was the field inspector. And we also had a full-time secretary. And it's busy. Like, you definitely need at least, part-time agent is great. It probably won't cut it. If you have a lot going on,
We could have a lot going on.
Yeah, well, that's just it, and you don't even know it in
No,
terms
we
of
know.
violations or anything like that. And sometimes you do have to turn a blind eye. But, I don't know how diligent everybody is in terms of taking on a case. It's great that you all kind of divvy
If
up
we
the
see
work.
something, we step in, but you can't, it's a big town.
We're
and
definitely,
look,
at,
look
we're
at all
definitely
the,
at a disadvantage without an agent.
if you
There's
turn
no
around and
doubt.
look at the
Yeah,
map and see
yeah.
all the,
Right,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Amesbury's similar, same kind of glacial.
Yeah.
So there's no way we could, what is the battle that we have to get an agent that we can surmount?
Budget.
$20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year.
Well, hopefully all the Groveland residents are watching us tonight on TV and they're gonna say.
Yes, this is the appeal for get an agent.
And part of it, obviously is budget, and,
Yeah.
in terms of even getting somebody that's part-time, but for example, my position in North Andover was 100% paid through filing fees because of the local bylaw. And
Ooh.
yeah, and they had to, so they basically created their bylaw in the 90s, and from that point forward, they always had filing fees, and over time, they would increase their fees, and I think to this day, it matches state fees. So for, say,
I like
category
that.
2, say for a
Well, our
single
filing
family
fees
house.
barely.
No,
Lower,
that's how
don't they?
we're supporting ourselves
Yeah.
is through filing
Right,
fees,
right,
it's just that,
but there's nothing left over.
no, right,
Yeah.
right,
It's not gonna support what we do already and a conservation agent, unless they got really.
yeah, if it was really busy, but, it's not really busy.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're aware, but those filing fees, should be kept in a separate account that's only for your use, and that's to support you to go to conferences, to like the MACC annual conference, or to their fall conference, or to AMWS, whatever, whatever training that you need, and that money. And if you're dealing with enforcement, it's for you to, retain the services of your own consultant at your expense rather than the applicant's expense.
So besides the filing fees, besides that, agents are just paid for as a line item from the town?
And also, since it's in the budget, because filing fees are vary, so if the town covers whatever the difference is in lean years, and in other years, they might take the difference if they can,
Yep.
So, can we pick two topics and maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to tell me tonight. If
Okay.
you want to brainstorm
Yeah,
about it, I didn't
yeah.
know if there were, if off the top of your head, if there just anything that pops out, in terms of what you would want to learn more of. Is it that you're not familiar with the regulations, they're just hard to navigate through, or is it specific how to do enforcement, beaver processes?
Yeah, I wasn't kidding, actually.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty complicated matter. I actually was just out in Chelmsford with a colleague of mine on an appeal. The health agent denied a 10-day emergency or a 10-day permit to do shopping, and so we
Really?
actually met out with a guy from Department of Public Health. So it's just to go through that process, that appeal process. So it can be confusing, but yeah, beavers is always a hot topic for a lot
So
of
by
commissions.
default, we've got enforcement and beavers. If we figure out other
Yeah.
stuff we wanna talk about, then we'll.
Yeah.
fine.
So
And, so maybe January or something?
yeah, I'm available whenever. Like I said,
Why wait till January?
days I'm available most weeknights, and Saturday mornings. I don't offer my Saturdays up just to
You
anybody,
sound
but
like you are.
I know I don't live that far away, so it's not like terrible. It's not like an hour plus commute.
Well, you warned her once, and she's still talking Saturdays.
I know
She
they're
said it
sacred,
twice.
but
Yeah.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll try to come up with a good
yeah.
evening that might work, and
Okay.
then I can let you know by email,
sure.
and we'll see.
And so I always have Lori's email on my listserv. Does somebody pick her email?
Yeah, I think it's grovelandcc at
Okay,
Yahoo.
so it's just a generic.
Yeah, that's
Right,
a generic one,
So
and
you
we
all
have
get my
somebody
emails?
that's checking
You
it,
see them?
so.
Okay. Because we also do that, I'm sure that you've seen, like even today I sent out, there was a question, somebody from the Manchester agent had a question on actually budgets.
Mm.
And it sparked a very lengthy discussion between other conservation agents and what their budget line items are and so forth. So you might want to just take a peek at that if you're interested.
Mm.
So
Okay. So we'll be in touch then.
Okay, so you have my contact, and I can give you a card if you want.
Yeah,
otherwise-
why don't you do
Okay.
that?
Cool. So again, I appreciate your time. I didn't mean to just
No,
hop in, but
that's great.
I was taking a chance and was hoping that you wouldn't get offended or.
No.
I think I have like 5 cards left, so I apologize for not having a couple more.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. So I hope to hear from you soon.
Okay,
All right,
thank you,
great.
Pam.
Nice to meet
Good.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
I've got the email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have somebody that comes to give us something,
Yes.
right?
Somebody came to help.
Somebody came to make us feel bad about
All
ourselves.
right. All right. So yeah, right. So here's a an issue that I just wanted to bring up. We had a complaint of
Now, she's
site.
here ready to talk about enforcement, and you let her go, and this would have been a perfect
'cause
example.
Yes, it could be, but I didn't want to ask her a specific question about a specific piece of property. You know what I mean? So I think we kind of need to decide this ourselves. So there's a property where, I'm not going to give you the address necessarily, but it's along a stream, so it's got riverfront issues, you know what I mean? We've got a 200-foot buffer there in addition to the 100-foot buffer to deal with. Okay, so someone is parking construction vehicles on a cleared out piece of their own private property, and also looks like, according to this aerial view, that they're also doing small amount of dumping or filling there, and somebody complained to the Board of Selectmen that there was some activity, potentially illegal activity there, and wanted us to check it out. So,
And the
here's,
selectmen want us to check it out?
yes, because somebody complained to them.
Oh, okay.
So, here's question number 1 is, if this activity is not taking place within the 100-foot buffer, but it appears that it could be taking place within the 200-foot buffer, should we be concerned about it?
A point of clarification. Parking a vehicle
Well, that's
in a particular place is not a violation in
Okay,
any
yes.
shape, manner, or form. We've got all kinds of vehicles all over town parked close to wetland areas,
Yes.
right?
right. So the parking, I don't think is a hard issue to figure out, but the potential filling and dumping
Yes.
there, what do you think about that?
That's not
It's-
sanctioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously filling wetland within wetland
Well,
bordered area.
Here, you look at it. I don't think it's filling of wetlands by any means. It's within 200 feet. Somebody is dumping piles of stone or gravel or rock. You can't see it that clearly in that one.
When's that
So-
image from?
Well, that image.
So what
is
would we have
like
done if
2012,
what would we say if
2012,
somebody came in and asked to do this? What we would say is let's make sure that that
The resource area is
the
protected.
resource area is protected, and if it was, then we would be okay, right? We'd say, okay, you can do it as long as there's the correct stuff so that
So we
it's not
just
going
need
into
to-
the wetland, right?
We need to make sure that they're taking measures to protect.
Yeah. So I would say we go visit it, or tell them, or ask them to go visit it, and then make sure that what's happening is not impacting the wetlands. I mean, I think it's that simple, right?
Yep.
So
So I think we're all
we
yeah.
do have jurisdiction for this kind of thing, even though it's within 200 feet. Because
Yes.
again, it's the same
It's a
issue that got
perennial
brought up
stream.
about the seasonal waiver restriction. It's a resource area that, somebody is
And all we're doing is
dumping
what we always
material
do,
in a
which is
resource area.
just making sure that
Right.
nothing. I mean,
Do we
it's
have
a
a-
We
standard
might
mode.
go out there and realize they're doing nothing.
Yes,
right.
that could
Yeah.
be.
It'd be a
Do we have
perfect
a
job
sense-
for a conservation
Agent.
agent.
We're all conservation agents. What were you gonna
do we-
say, Jeff?
Do we have a sense whether this is they're working on a specific project, or is this something that
Well,
has been going on long term and is going to continue going on long term?
I don't know.
No idea.
We have no idea.
let me state what the actual problem is because the applicant, no, there is no applicant.
Yes.
It's private property.
Right.
You can't just show up and start walking into their yard,
Right.
right? That's the rub.
Well, I don't know if that's true. You
In-
can't just show
I
up.
think, yeah, I
Maybe,
think we can
but you
warn them
can.
that we're going to show up.
Right.
Well, what I would say is that one of us can go knock on the door and say, I'm from the Conservation Commission, and we received information that
From the
potentially
From the
there's a,
selectmen.
well, you could say that, but you know, that there's a
Right.
potential problem on your property, and I was wondering if you would take a walk with me out there now, and can we look at it? And, you know, you can show them the picture. Yes? So, who wants to do this? That's the final question.
Make sure it's not on the
I'll go
camera.
with somebody. I mean, I've never been in a situation like that, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't want the full responsibility.
I'll go with you if you want.
So Brad is our great enforcement person, so Carl, you're gonna go help him.
I'll give you backup.
All right, good. No,
Yeah,
I
muscle.
think
He's
it's,
gonna be the strong
makes-
silent type, just
it
standing
makes
behind
more,
him all
it
the
makes,
time.
yeah, it makes more sense to have two people do
I
this.
think in general, we should always, whenever there's an enforcement order, we should
Yeah.
just make the rule
Yeah.
right now. You never go by yourself. You,
Right.
always, you always go
We
in
don't
a
want a
team.
singular opinion, yeah.
Absolutely. Because if
Right.
something ever
Well,
goes
not
wrong,
just that.
you need to have another. You
Yeah.
need to have another.
You have to have somebody down 911.
Yeah.
But the other thing to be aware of is that the person may say that they don't have a problem and get lost.
And that's totally possible.
Yes, and so if they do, don't force anything, and then what we'll do, you know, just report back here on November 13th, and we'll make what we should do next. You know, we've got a couple of options at that point. All right, so just make a note of that.
You want to do that, Brad?
I mean, are we just gonna knock on their door?
Yeah,
Do you have a phone number?
nope.
Jeez.
You know, and you might
You
make,
got a phone number?
if they don't want to let you do it then, you can say, can we come by next Saturday or something, you know what I mean? So if they say, look, you know, I can't go out there right now, you know, just see if you can make an appointment to come back. Or if somebody says, oh, you'll have to wait till my spouse comes home or something, you know, just make an appointment. But try to go look at it with the person, have them show you. And then I think the
Yeah, we're going to be
person's-
totally non-confrontational.
Yeah,
no matter what.
No
right?
doubt.
Definitely,
No doubt.
definitely
You're
non-confrontation.
not gonna be packing on this trip.
Guns a blazing.
Yeah, okay,
Where's Steve?
the,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, Steve is not going. The last thing on the agenda is, Laura, I don't know if you saw that email, but Laurie last Sunday, sent her resignation in. Unfortunately, she's just not getting better fast
Wow.
enough, you know. And so, but she said, you know, thanks for holding the thing open for this long. But, you know, we had already discussed this a couple months ago that, you know, we might have to really start thinking about what else can we do. So this gives us the ability now to move forward and try to hire someone. So what I'm recommending is that we can hire somebody for the administrator position for 5 hours a week, and we'll make that kind of an average. You know, the weeks we have a meeting, you know, she might have to spend, whoever it is might have to spend a little more time, and then other weeks it's quieter, so, you know, they might put in. So the average would be about five hours per week.
Sounds good.
Second the motion.
I have someone who's interested, who's already working for another board. So they're familiar with town procedures. What I want this person to do besides take minutes at our meeting and transcribe them is, manage the phone calls, manage the emails, set up the agendas, come to town hall, check the mail, post meetings, put our warrants together and submit warrants, deposits. This is all stuff that Lori was doing. The other big thing that needs to be done, that alone will take probably 60% of her time, is of her time. But the other big thing that I want to do is have this person work on our files. First of all, we have almost a year's worth of files sitting around in piles that need to be refiled. And the other thing that I want to do is what I'd like to have done is go through the files and scan everything in that can be scanned into PDFs, and then that stuff can be attached to addresses that are in my map. Then that way there we can, decide what we're going to do with all the paper, put it away or whatever.
That's something we could do during Mondays at downtime?
Except that it's not here, so we'd have to somehow get I suppose we could, if we had a pile, if we had the administrator bring us a pile of stuff and we were gonna sit here for an hour and scan stuff in, yeah, we could do that.
Is this a position that needs to be posted? Is there,
No, I
it's
don't think
below,
so. It's
threshold?
5 hours a week, look pretty low, it's gonna end up being, about
well, 5 hours a week.
It's about
$250.
$5,000 a year, so it doesn't fall within any.
Okay.
Is it the 5 hours a week? Is that what Lori was doing?
She was, probably averaged about that, 5 or 10. She might have been 10 hours a week, but our income right now is just we're not able to support. We're able to, we can do 5,000 for a year.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll replenish it, because right now we've got about that in our budget, in our account. All right, so I'm gonna meet with this person on Thursday, and what I'd like to do is have her start doing the work, just on a trial basis, like a 30-day trial. So you can meet her at our November 13th meeting, and we'll have her talk to us and tell us a little bit about what she's doing, and if we think she's doing a good job, we can keep her. I got another person is supposed to send me a resume, but I haven't seen it yet, so.
Well, that's a bad sign if the resume, if they can't be bothered to send a resume,
right, exactly.
then
So,
certainly their follow-up
high
and,
interest,
I'm just
Computer skills.
I'm dying to get somebody to do this, so
Right.
if this first applicant looks good, believe me,
All right.
say go for it.
I'm gonna move that we accept, Mike's proposal to engage this person on a, 30-day, what's it
Trial.
called? Trial, it's not really a trial, anyway, 30-day,
Probation.
probation period, thank you.
Nice. Second. I didn't know that was a period, but.
There's a series of periods, it's called an ellipsis.
Ellipsis, very good, very good.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain, against, unanimous. Any other things anybody wants to bring up? So our next meeting is Wednesday, November 13th. I can't think of any other hot topics. We've got our site visit on
Second.
November 2nd.
Wood Street's more or less under control.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other seasonal restrictions
That we know
potential.
of.
We don't have any open. I can't think of any other open. The only other open one that I know of is Dewhurst Street. And I was out there on
That looks pretty done.
Friday, and he's done. It's all done.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all stabilized. So I
All
told
the
him.
erosion controls.
Yeah, and
Good
he's got
place
his
for the
markers
winter.
up. So I told him to, he probably should just apply for a certificate of compliance. So,
Already?
he should be doing that. Yeah,
Don't we usually have it go through a growing season first?
you can.
Or is it not a real?
It's not really an issue.
It's pretty gentle, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. And plus,
The one
it's
thing I
it's
remember-
almost stabilized. He's
Already,
got the
yeah.
hydro seeds in there and everything, So
Wasn't
haven't-
wasn't the circle the closest part in front of the house, the road really?
yes, and that's got to get done. I
So have to
will.
get done before November
Yes,
1st.
it
'Cause
does.
that was much closer and much steeper.
Because it was close to the 25
Indeed.
foot.
It was,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
they were the original
that's
plans
true.
had it in.
Well,
Yeah.
they've already got it. The material is filled in the way it's supposed to be. I think all they need to do is pave it.
Well,
But
that's.
let me contact him again about
You got
that.
about 9 days to do that.
Yeah, I know.
A seasonal waiver in the making?
Well,
Hopefully
So
not.
we're gonna get 10 hours out of this thing. We're gonna fund 10 hours through our seasonal waiver fee.
Yeah, right.
well, I mean, it's a shame that driveway wasn't taken care of months ago.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, I understand that
It is truly a shame.
there's always tough to find contractors, but it's been going on a while.
Yep.
I don't think you use that as an argument for lower fees.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, you argue to the contractor, you pay the difference if it's you pay the fee.
Yeah,
It's gonna-
yeah.
I
You
don't
It's
want
know.
not
the
all
job,
that
you
much
pay the fee
for a
if you wanna get it done.
contractor, really,
Yeah.
considering the scope of that job.
No, we haven't received anything from 918 Salem Street, have we?
No.
Okay.
No.
And 119 Main Street,
What's that one?
that's the little shed that Tony and I did the site visit on. And we went to the site and we saw brush in the wetlands, and
Oh, yeah.
I asked him to remove it, and he did.
He did?
He did.
Oh, okay, good.
Within
The
3 days.
Wow.
enforcer.
Yes. But see, that's what you want to do.
doesn't need a gun.
I got to.
Just active enforcement, that you're not dealing with things that are
Well, he was very, very agreeable.
Okay, so now
Move to adjourn.
before we do that though, who wants to buy tickets to
We have to do
the
that
wine
during
and
the
art?
meeting?
No.
I think we have to do that
Everyone
after the
that's
meeting.
I made a
watching TV wants
movement.
to buy them.
A motion.
If you want to buy tickets to the wine and art, call me at home.
The
My phone
commercial.
number is in the phone book. Okay, now Terry made a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm not gonna
You're
post.
the new camera guy?
Well, it's pointing right at me, and I wanted to get it off me.
Busted.
Yeah, I did.
The camera's still rolling, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, my.
We second it.
Oh, yeah,
You
second.
tried
so-
to hide out in the little room, but they followed you, huh?
Yeah.
You
I-
can run, but you can't
It's not a good hiding place. There's only one means of egress, too.
All right, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, so now who wants
All right, we're
tickets?
good.
Carl already got
We're
tickets.
adjourned.
We just adjourned.
Carl